Welcome to day 4 of our Hunky Dory week of webisodes. Now, the guys at Hunky Dory have told me that they have a special thing that they do when they're working with pearl paper. And the pearl paper, they don't do it very often, but we have 3 collections using it.
We have this massive Fluttering Pearl luxury card kit with lots of stuff within that kit. But we also have these 2 separate components, which are pearlized papers, or cardstock actually.
Right.
One is a foiled and the other is embossed. I can't wait till you see that.
So we're going to play with pearls today. Come play with us. Well, here are the 3 sets. Now, the Fluttering Pearl is right here. We're going to get into that.
Right. And we have the embossed cardstock, and we also have these beautiful foiled pearlized. They're all pearlized.
Right.
We're going to talk about those a little later.
Right. So here is the Fluttering Pearl. And you can see this is why we talked about it being massive. It's big. And it has 219 foiled die cuts. But it also has some specialty things. And I love it when Hunky Dory does that.
Right. Special projects that you can do just within the kit.
Here is the inspiration sheet, as you know, and then there are 3 types of specialized. There's a Pearly purse, and there is a pop-up card, and there are Pearly pockets.
So good instructions for all of those with photos.
So inside the kit, you've got envelopes. There are 3 different sizes. You have a Velcro. We'll show you what that's going to go for. And there's a sheet of acetate. We'll show you what that specializes in. And then starting with the die cuts. These are kind of extra ones. And as we get in, you can see just the beautiful art, the foiling, and the pearlescence.
Isn't that beautiful? So you can stack them, you can use them individually, lots of little embellishments. And this is why they call it Fluttering Pearl. You've got these fluttery butterflies, you've got kites, balloons.
Isn't that beautiful? Looks so kind of watercolorish. Now, one of the style of things that you can make is the pop-up card, and that's been done with this combination.
It makes kind of a box pop-up, and this also uses
You're gonna love it, by the way.
sheet that you saw. Oh yeah, just beautiful. And look at those beautiful designs.
And there are 4 that you can make of this, all very unique.
I sure hope you can see that pearlized quality.
Do too.
It's just very, very shimmery. It's not just the gold foiling. The entire cardstock is pearlized.
Right, and it is a special, under a special license, I believe, is how the Hunky Dory folks can use it.
Just
and
gorgeous.
Everything in here is pearlized. So this is going into the die cuts, and as you know, there are a gazillion of them. Okay, well, there's 219.
And there's always lots of sentiments, birthday, best wishes, lots of fun things. Oh, that's a great one. That's it's called the dressing table. I love it. It's got the perfume bottles, and that's a different look.
Birds, beautiful. I love the art in this. It's just whimsical and lovely.
Lots of different shades.
This is unique, and
that's different,
this too is obviously the pearl, but it also has a gold. So it's kind of a sheet of die cut sentiments. So that's handy to have.
So that's really neat. That's different for sure. And then you have this one.
This is going to make the pocket, right?
Yeah,
and you're going to demonstrate that when we get to it.
One sheet will entail all that, and you'll have little extra sentiments. We'll use everything on one.
And again, we get it in 4 colors. Look like one of the pieces fell out. We'll have to find that.
Within there somewhere.
Right. And then there is the little notelet purse.
Right.
And so there are a couple of pieces that create that. And then
there's part of that's part of creating the purse, and then we have the 4 little note cards that they're already they're not scored, so you score those and then fold them.
And then we have more of the die cut pieces that you can use individually, foam tape or
great little embellishments that can be used on that pop-up
You can see the fluttering.
See that? Yeah.
Now this is going into the adorable scoreable, and again the pearlescent and the foiling. There are 16. Okay, and 8 of them are foiled like this. And then, obviously, 8 of them will not be foiled.
Lots of different beautiful images, but they all have that tiny little floral aspect to them that's just tiny, very artistic details.
Wow.
Ooh, and all over. Beautiful.
And that's the 8, and then there are 8 that are just on the pearl.
Printed, but all pearl.
Right. Whoops, right side up.
With the heart. That's just beautiful.
And upside birthday cake.
Another cake.
And then we have some kites, we have bird cages. Good design, good universal design. Can never go wrong with butterflies. There's your dressing table.
Then we get into the foil, the papers. There are 8 pearl papers. 4 of them are foiled.
Right, and as you can see, and of course we're fans of paper in addition, so all over. And there we have it of just the pearl paper, which is, it almost feels like Tyvek.
Oh,
I mean, it's
interesting.
I mean, it's not, but it kind of has that feel. Okay, so those are all the goodies. Now, let's see what you can make. And now, doesn't this look interesting? This is how it would come to you in an envelope, which are there. But look at what it becomes.
Isn't that wonderful?
That pops up, and that's why it's called a pop-up card.
So this is where you're going to use a lot of those beautiful little embellishments. This is where you're going to use that acetate. They are just, the acetate is just cut into strips to extend out the little messages and the artwork.
Okay, you're going to have to show us how this all comes together.
I can do that.
Very fun.
So it starts on one sheet with the things that you're going to pop out, except for all the embellishments, which are on other sheets. This is the back of the card. Then I've got another scalloped piece that's going to end up being the front. And then I have these separate pieces that construct that box. And so we have 2 side pieces here. So I'm probably going to arrange them this way. You get to choose, and they're going to stand up like so.
And those are scored, aren't they?
They are scored, and they have these tabs along the sides. And then these are the 2 pieces with this scalloped edge that are going to sit on the top of this box. So I'm going to start with these side pieces.
Let me just bring this in for a second so you can see. So those scallop pieces are sitting at the top.
Right.
Hopefully you can see that.
They go across the box.
And they're going to hold the bits and pieces.
And these side pieces here are the sides of the box that go here.
Okay.
So here are these scored tabs on the side. And I wanted to show you, I went ahead and put ultra tape on there. It's the 1/4 inch wide double-sided tape. And you go ahead and you mount and fold each of those tabs.
This is what the ultra tape looks like. It comes on a roll.
Right.
That orange liner gets pulled off.
Right. So you'll place a piece on there. You cut it off to the strip to the size that you want, and then you pull off the backing piece. So now that adhesive stays on there, and that's ready to stick onto something, except I wasn't quite ready to do that yet. That's all right. I've got.
Did you get ahead of you?
I did. I did want to show you that here are the 2 pieces. What you're going to do is you're going to turn them over, and we're going to start with placing these. So you've got the scalloped edge at the top, you've got the scalloped edge at the top here, and you also have these 2 end pieces which are scored, so you just fold them back like so. Okay. Then you remove the ultra tape covering from these tabs, and you want to line up, you want to get that edge up close to the top of this. This isn't perfection. You don't have to make this perfect, you just get as close as you can, and just go ahead and place that where there's that ultra tape. I'm just going to put it right at the top.
And because this is the side, that's why you're going.
Right, so that's going to end up, so it's going to be like this.
Okay.
So you see, this is, if this is the front of my card here, then I'm going to put that. It's about a 1/2 inch back because you're going to put another one right about there. So I've got the other one. It's going to face the same direction as that. I'm going to call this a gusset. It's kind of a gusset that goes across there. And those are folded back, and I'm going to place that about a 1/2 inch from the back and just about there. Okay? So I've got this side, these tabs folded back. If they sit up there like this, look, they're kind of folded back and ready to go. Then I can take this piece. I've got, oh, here we go. I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to set them right on there. Maybe I'll set that up so
and you want to have
see.
all of those scallops matching.
Up at the top,
Okay.
right. So I think I'll hold those just about so. Get that close to the top, about there, and there we go. So now we have that nice little box shape. So I want these to be out in the front. So I'm going to take the tape off of these back 2 tabs, which I took the one off of that one already previously, and I'm ready to set that, it jumped, with these pieces up at the top. I'm going to set that
the printed
right
side
on the card.
facing out.
Okay, now the important part of this card is not to place these in the center of that large scallop piece. You want to place it close to one side or the other side. You choose, because when it's flattened, you want it to still be able to fit in the envelope.
Ah.
Okay, so I'm going to move way over close to this edge, as close over to the edge as I can.
Well, that's counterintuitive, isn't it?
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought of it. It says it right in the instructions, so that's a good reminder right there. So there we go. I'm sticking that one on so that it will fold flat like so when we're all done. And then I take the 2 pieces off the front, and we just sort of make sure those are folded back correctly and line those up.
So make them line up right at the bottom.
Right, and there you go.
Okay.
You have your box,
yes.
like so. And it will flatten down and fit into an envelope, so no problem. Now you have
and then what, Gail?
Now you have the fun chore of taking the acetate pieces, which you cut into about a 1/2-inch strip, and figure out how tall you want them, and then you can pop out.
Is that about a 1 inch? You said a 1/2 inch.
Yeah, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch,
okay.
Whatever's going to fit the size of your little piece. You know, I think the stability, I think this is about 3/4 of an inch.
Okay.
And you can't really see it all that well, so it's okay if it's a little wider than what you're thinking. This will fit on there and you won't really see it. I've got ultra tape on the back of that, and you're just going to choose whatever embellishments you want, and you're just going to put that right on the top of the acetate piece, and then the back of the acetate will get glued or foam taped, I think glued, or zotted or ultra taped to the back of that. So now they're going to stick out, and if you see that, the rest of it.
So here's what happens is there are in this case, there are 3 pieces of acetate behind the front, 3 in the center, and just a couple in the back. But notice that they go shorter and then longer as they go toward the back. So that you can
see them. And I want to point out that on the sheet that constructs this, here is this piece.
What is that piece for?
Well, we couldn't really determine the best way to use this, and so we chose not to use it, but just so that when you're looking at that going, where does that go? It's the only, what looks like a gusset, it's the only piece that doesn't have scallops at the top. And so my best thought is that you could use it to stabilize the front if you wanted to put that on the front.
Oh, because it is scored.
Right. I didn't really, it's got the tabs on the side, it's the same size, so it would fit right there. If you feel that you need a little bit of stability, it'll work there, but I didn't really feel that it needed it, so we just didn't use it.
So optional. But this is just charming. And what I love is the ease of putting it together, especially after you showed it to us. Now, you can choose, as you said, any of the pieces, and each of the 4 different pop-up cards that you can make has different art on it. This one has butterflies and kites and
balloons. So yeah, you can definitely mix and match.
And as you said, you can do the art, or you can choose also the words. This is best wishes, thinking of you.
Yeah, it has several different little messages on here, which I think is wonderful.
Very fun. You're going to have lots of acetate left too. So
and then when you're done, flatten that down, put it in one of the provided envelopes, which it fits in one of the larger envelopes.
Actually, that's what I think is brilliant, is that it goes flat and then just, I mean, it just takes a second to pop it up. So
it's a great little gift
very
card.
Fun. So that's the first unique card, but we're not done. There is another, and this is the Pearly purse with notes inside.
Right. So you have these little note cards that fit in there.
And this is where the Velcro comes in, that little piece. So I'm opening this up, and inside there are the cards and envelopes.
And these are, they're not pre-scored, but they are, easy to just score, fold in half, and then add your own, the hunky-dory embellishments on the card toppers. Now, you can choose
to add the die-cut pieces or not. I mean, they're really pretty.
Sure, you can leave them as is, because they are pearlized. They've already got that quality, and then you can use these for other cards.
And they've got the art on them, so just lovely.
Beautiful.
Okay, so how do we do this?
Okay, I've got some of the pieces to the purse here. This is going to be the top piece. We have 2 pieces that will look like these. These are the side panels, and then we have this handle that goes on the top of the purse. We also have what normally you're going to see this flat. I've already put it together in some fashion here. It's this piece that is scored for you already in these 2 places so that you can go ahead and fold it. So along the scored lines, you fold it up in this shape, and what I did is I already put in one side panel so that you can see that. So there's one of the side panels that I set in there, and this is the way I did that end panel. Side panel. I have this piece. I have the Ultra Tape on there. So there are these 3 scored lines around the edges, and you notice it is not quite as wide up at the top as it is at the bottom. It's wider at the bottom, and that's also where the floral artwork is, so that should be easy for you to match up with the purses. Look at the floral artwork at the bottom. I've got all of that extra, the covering for the adhesive removed, and I already sort of pre-pushed these back. You really want to make sure that they're pushed back so that you can set them in place in here. All right, it's going to be kind of sticky on my fingers, but I could do. I would line up the bottom first, and I'm just going to sort of set that down. You guys can't see that at all, so I'm going to do it like this. But I think for you it would be easier if this is setting down and then you place that on there.
Yeah.
But so that you can see what I'm doing, I'll hold it up and just line up those edges just like so.
And they fit perfectly.
Yep.
It's nice that they're pre-scored.
Right there, and I push it on, and that sticks the Ultra Tape on there, and then you line up the sides. And this is what I did on the other end first, and now I'm just completing it. So it's like a purse. It's wider at the bottom than it is at the top, so all your stuff doesn't fall out.
There you go.
So that's the base of the purse. Then you take this piece, which was also scored, and you go ahead and make sure that those score lines are folded back. Now there are 2 pieces, a larger, a smaller. You want that smaller piece in back. So that is the piece, that one that's not quite so wide. That's where I put the Ultra Tape.
And one reason why we use the Ultra Tape is because it is so super, super sticky, and it's going to adhere nicely to these foiled and pearlized papers.
As soon as you get just a little bit of gloss on something, regular tape does not want it to stick, and Ultra Tape does a nice job of that. I lined that fold up with the top of the back edge of the purse. I think I'm going to lay it down and push that down inside to make sure it stays on there. And now you've got that flap that comes over. And then with just a little bit of Ultra Tape, first on the handle, there are also 2 scored edges. You want to fold them this way, kind of. You wouldn't think that
Valley
way.
fold.
Right. You valley fold those 2 little ends up. Now I've got the covering that I'm going to remove from the
And
tape.
notice the Ultra Tape here is just a strip.
Right.
It's not covering that whole little tab.
It's not really necessary because it's not really going to carry the purse around that way. Okay, now when I put this on, I'm going to sort of push them together a little bit so I get a bow. And I'm just eyeballing where I'm going to put that. But I am going to push them. Let me hold it like this so you can see that.
So it's just going on that top
Right, just
area.
kind of make it even where you want to put it. Put a little bow in there so that you've got a handle.
There you go.
Ta-da.
And then the Velcro goes on the lip.
The Velcro goes here and there, and you have a notelet box.
And now we also have a little pocket. So that's what's going on here. Now Debbie's made this into a scrapbook page just so that you can see the nice way that the die cuts are going to work and the frames. That was done with some borders, I think.
Right.
And then here is this little
It's a pocket card.
Yeah, and as I open up, you can open up and get a little tag inside.
Isn't that cute? So I like that that was used on a page. It's actually a card, but it was glued together so you don't open it up like a card anymore.
Right.
But you do have that cute little tag on there.
So show us how that comes together.
I'm going to show you that. So there are 2 pieces, 3 if you want to consider the tag that slips in afterward. And the 2 pieces are done like so. This one, which is already scored, and place it face up and start mountain folding on the left. So that's going to fold back like that. And then you want to valley fold this one over this way. So see, it seems kind of strange that you're not going to be able to see the artwork, but that's the way it's going to sit. Then there's a tab that's going to actually fold. I put this on the wrong side. No, I did. Tab's going to fold back, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the covering for the Ultra Tape. Because
So you were right after all.
I was right. That doesn't happen real often, but on occasion. I fold that little tab back, and I actually connect it to the front of the card.
Which seems very strange.
It does seem strange, but now I've got this pocket here, you see.
Yes.
And then I take this little piece and I'm going to tape it right to the front.
Right.
So once that tapes to the front, now you've got a card, so the inside you can add a sentiment, and on the front you have this nice little pocket once these are glued together or taped together, where you can stick that little pocket right in there.
So going back to, so you can use that as a little pocket card. You can put it onto another card, or leave it its size, or you can use it to hold some journaling on a scrapbook page. Just beautifully done. Now, we've done these specialty things, but I just want to point out that there is absolutely nothing wrong with using just the die cuts themselves and putting them on top of the pearlized paper.
And this one in particular is beautiful because it has these separate frames. This is one of the die cuts. This is one, and this is one. They just all pop up, and if you layer them on different levels of foam tape, then you can really make them stand out.
And it's nice to get this close up to that artwork, just how lovely it is. And down here we've added a little sending lots of love. And of course we have some jewel dazzles because, you know, you sort of have to.
And what I'm really thinking that you can't pick up on it, but this whole thing is pearlized. So you've got just this slight little shimmer to everything that you're looking at on this paper.
And not only the look of it, but the feel of it is really nice too. And I'm sorry you can't touch it, but when you get your kit, you'll see what we mean. Now, this is in the Fluttering Pearl Luxury Card Kit. But as we said, there's more. So we're going to go into the foiled pearl papers. And you want to bring those in?
And here they are. It's this gorgeous set of pearlized papers with foil accents. So there, now you can see all of the foil. This comes in 2 designs. I can't recall how many are.
There's 16 sheets, so there's 8 of each.
So there are 8 of each, and look at those.
So you've got the all-over butterflies.
In this kind of an ivory color, a blue, a green. This one is kind of a teal color. This beautiful lilac. So all of these that you're seeing are in this first design, which is the beautiful butterflies overall with these beautiful swirls. And then you get the same colors in the next pattern. So there's even a little bit more going on here with swirls and flowers, but in the same colors. So, and these are regular cardstock. Is it the A4 size?
It is. This is 8.5 or 8 1/4 by 11 3/4. So there are 16 sheets, 8 of each design, in all of these lovely colors. Very pastel-y. So what can you do with that? Well, how about this? Because those designs are in so many colors, you can layer them onto a card, just as was done here, and let that design flow from place to place.
Just add this backed dazzle. It's got a little chalk there to echo the colors, and that's just a really simple way to use those colors. It's just beautiful.
And just you can think how far that's going to go. Here is another way that you can use them, and this is the center step card.
So we're using that luxury card kit, but we're combining it.
So you've got the pearlized foiled papers, and that's been done on each side, but then we've gone back into the luxury card kit and have picked those up.
And it's that center step die cut that you were just showing, and it's got pattern pieces in there for cutting out these papers the way you want, and this one has been matted on it, this card topper has been matted on it.
And you can do the inside or you can not do the inside, but in this case that was elected to finish it, and you can see how just what a beautiful combination that is.
And I love that just little strips of those foiled pearlized papers are just gorgeous.
Now here's another example of using a larger piece, and there it is on the front of this card.
And it really showcases that large card topper. It does. And that has been matted on one of the cardstocks from the kit, but then you've got that large piece of foiled pearlized paper and cardstock behind it.
As we get in closer, I'm sorry, there are the jewel dazzles finishing up those butterflies, as you can see.
That's great fun, going around finding just the right spots for those tiny little jewel dazzles.
So very fun, as you can see them finishing off this card, and butterflies peeking out from behind.
Down
the
at the
birdcage.
bottom, one of the die cuts is one of these borders here. There are sometimes borders with that foil edging on them as the die cuts. I love those. They're very useful.
Now that is the foiled pearl paper.
Right.
Now we also have embossed pearl paper.
Right. Now I haven't seen this yet personally with Hunky Dory, so I really thought these were amazing. They are foiled. They are all one color, not foiled.
They're all pearl.
They're all
Right.
pearlized. They're all one color, and they have these great embossed images, so you can feel that.
They're richly embossed. There are 16 sheets. There are 4 patterns. So obviously this is the swirl.
And I do think you can see the pearl with that.
I hope
think
so.
You can see that shimmer.
It's just lovely.
So there are 16. There are 4 of each design. 4 designs. You have the swirl. You have this beautiful daisy look all over.
Right.
So you have 4 of those. And 4
teeny tiny butterflies.
Tiny little fluttering butterflies to go with your Fluttering Pearl card kit. And then the overall dots, kind of a Swiss dot. Very cute.
And what I appreciate is those are very useful patterns, very much like the foiled pearl.
Right.
Very useful.
It's all white, but we know kind of how to change that too.
Well, yes, but here is our first. Now, Susan combined 2 of the embossed. You can see the dots at the top and the swirls at the bottom, and then she put some suede paper in between, and that is
it's great. It's beautiful on its own, but it also makes a beautiful backdrop for another focal. So those big, beautiful flowers sort of take, part of the stage here, but those swirls really stand out.
They really do, and the tone on tone is so lovely. And then it was discovered last night, actually. Susan found that you can ink the embossed foil paper. And look at that blue. Now, what did she do?
Well, she used fluid chalk ink, which was another huge surprise. Now, usually when you're working with something that seems kind of glossy, you're going to use a Stays-On or a Surfaces ink, so we didn't think that was going to work.
But she did.
She discovered that those pearlized papers are just a little bit porous. And so what she started out doing, she told me the process. I've got Arctic Deep fluid chalk ink and a sponge, and she said for her that was the best way that this worked. And she started by sort of swiping the color across it with a sponge to give it a base of color. So I'm just going to start by swiping. This is the method that she showed me.
Okay.
Now that gives you just a little bit of a base. So it's colorizing just a little bit. It's colorizing the paper, and you want it to sort of get all over.
Well, like so many things, you probably want to start lighter, and that way you can add more color and make it darker.
And you can build up, right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep swiping. And I would take a little bit more time and do that a little bit more effectively with less streaking, but I'm kind of in a hurry. So I've got part of it there. So once you do that, then she took the entire stamp pad and swiped it across like so. So now you can see it really picking up, and you can make it as dark or as light as you want. To really,
well, that's a nice idea.
Right, and then you go back with your sponge and sort of smooth that out. And that really makes, so she said if you tried to do that first, so let's see what happens. On the white part, without doing that little extra swipe first, if you just went like that, you would get a lot dark on top, a lot of dark on top of those, and not enough coloring behind it.
Okay.
And I can really see that. It's just kind of hard to blend it in. So it really helped, if you want to colorize it, to start with this swiping of color and then use the pad all the way across.
And the chalk ink pads are a blend of pigment and dye.
Okay.
So they're a hybrid, so that's why they're working. But look at this. This is on the sidestep card base, and she has used the daisy embossed, and then she has colorized the butterfly as you showed. And she used
the Bodacious Blooms cutting die.
The Bodacious Blooms cutting die. Now she used the big one and then one of the smaller ones.
And I love that she left some of that white right there in the center, and it's just beautiful.
And just on the tips of both of the blossoms, she used the silver jewel dazzles.
Silver jewel dazzles. And then over, this is some of from the tinsel, is that Petaloo?
It is.
petaloo tinsel, and this is the silver cording comes. So it's just a nice touch.
Dazzles to do your message, and you can see that she did some of the blue ones on the center step and used it for matting on the back.
So this is one of the side step cards. It comes, like we were talking about, it comes with the paper pattern so that you can cut these to suit just perfectly. She also inked the card before she placed it on there, so she'd have that nice blue matte.
That worked well. So, and in this case, she elected not to do anything on the inside. So, and again, this is going to sit right up and it will be looking at you like so. So that's a lovely look. Now, so you can use them white. You can now, as we've discovered, you can ink them, or look what's been done here, just highlighting the in this case, the butterflies.
Right, the embossed image. So what you've got is the overall, we've used the kit.
Right.
And then there's just one little strip of the embossed pearlized cardstock, and then with gold smooch ink. Susan went in and just colored each one of those butterflies. That really doesn't take very much, just for a small strip like that.
And with that fine point on the applicator of the smooch, that's going to work beautifully.
Very easy
Isn't
to do.
that fun?
Beautiful.
Just gorgeous. And you can see right here, this is another of the die cuts on top. You can see we've added the gold jewel dazzles.
Now, something that I haven't seen done here that I want to mention, these are all just foam taped on there. Easy peasy, really quick to do, but you could also score that right in the center and fold those wings up and get a little dimension on any of those die cuts.
I like how these die cut flowers are just kind of enfolding over the side, just very, very pretty. And on the inside of this card, look at that. Boy, that could be a card front, couldn't it?
Beautiful. So this is one of the foiled papers back here from the kit. Just the die cuts. These are two of the foiled papers, and then another strip of that.
Oh, right. The butterflies
embossed
fluttering on the edge.
Right.
Beautifully done. Okay.
Beautiful.
Now,
we just kind of keep saying that over. Beautiful.
I know.
But it is.
Well, you know, what you have here is amazing art, beautifully executed with the foiling and the pearl. I mean, it's kind of, how can you go wrong?
Right.
Now, this scrapbook page is using a lot of things. It's using, you can see as we get in closer, the embossed pearl. This is the dot, and doesn't that make just a lovely background?
Right. It didn't have to be colored or anything. That white is just a perfect backdrop. And then you've got, down at the bottom, you've got some of the foiled papers from the kit and this big, large strip of balloons down here.
And I actually think that this particular one is not foiled. It's just the printed paper. You did, yeah.
Darn
but
it.
this is foiled. That's foiled. So you were right.
So you've got that, the centerpiece popped up. And I find sometimes a double layer of foam tape when you're popping up these framed pieces, it's just easier to see.
Yeah, you can see how that's lifted.
Right.
This is a happy birthday. And how fun this is that our birthday girl had balloons on her bike, but we've added more of the balloons.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, kind of going off the photograph. So very fun and festive all the way around.
A few of those little flowers just foam taped. So there's lots and lots of those embellishments that will go a long way and add to lots of pages, cards, whatever
so
you
if
have.
pearlescent appeals to you, we have it in embossed, we have it in foiled, and we have it in a luxury card kit.
Right. So have fun with your pearlized everything, and
we'll see you tomorrow for the very last day of our week of Webisodes.
See you then.